Can you imagine if there was a manual that could guide the soul through the magnificent state between deaths? What if I told you that such a guide really did exist and has been a compass for many over the centuries? I'm talking about the Tibetan Book of the Dead, a work that reveals what could happen after our last breath. But before we go any deeper, let's think about it for a moment. Have you ever wondered what happens after death? Is our existence limited to the physical body that we can touch and see? What happens to our consciousness when the heart stops beating? This book is a guide that not only addresses these questions, but also helps us to cope with visions and hallucinations during this critical period of transition. The text has its roots in the 7th century, a period when Buddhism was beginning to take deep root in Tibetan culture. The story begins with the Tibetan king Samh Gampo, who played a crucial role in inviting the Indian Buddhist master Padma Hava to Tibet. Padma Hava, also known as Guru Rinpoche, was no ordinary master. He was revered as a saint, someone who brought with him profound and transformative knowledge. It was he who introduced the teachings on the bardos, which are those intermediate states between death and rebirth. These teachings were later compiled into what we know today as the Tibetan Book of the Dead. These teachings on the bardos were originally transmitted orally. Oral tradition was common in those days, and these profound teachings were passed down from master to disciple in a continuous stream of wisdom. Over time, to ensure that these teachings were not lost, they were recorded in texts, and one of these texts is our focus today. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, as mentioned earlier, is a terma, which in Tibetan tradition means a hidden treasure. Thermi are considered to be hidden teachings, stored away to be discovered in times of future need. It is believed that Padma Hava hid these teachings in secret places, both physical and mental, to be found by Tirthan's spiritual masters, when the world was ready to receive them. This aspect of the hot springs is crucial because it shows a worldview where spiritual teaching is not static. It evolves and adapts to the needs of the times and the practitioners. The ability to reveal these teachings at the right time is seen as a form of the master's compassionate wisdom, ensuring that spiritual guidance is available when it is most needed. By understanding the origins and historical significance of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we realize how much more than a text it is. It is a link between the past, present, and future, offering a bridge of wisdom that spans generations. Before we go any further, make sure you're already subscribed to the channel, because the next few videos will be a series of contents that will start to make you take a different look at the world we live in. Do you remember that I talked about the concept of a terma? A terma is a hidden treasure destined to be revealed at an opportune moment. This idea of texts and teachings being revealed at the right time is an intriguing part of Tibetan culture, showing a deep understanding of the evolution of humanity's spiritual needs. Thermi are more than just writings. They are considered living revelations, designed to awaken the latent wisdom within those who encounter them. This means that each terma, including the Tibetan Book of the Dead, is more than a text. It is a living tool for transformation. It is designed to be found and interpreted by Tirthan's specific spiritual masters, at times when the world needs to remember or revitalize crucial teachings. This concept also underscores the dynamic nature of knowledge transmission in Tibetan Buddhism, where ancient knowledge is not only preserved, but also adapted and revealed in ways that align with contemporary needs. The Tibetan Book of the Dead, as a terma, was rediscovered at a time seen as propitious for its need and application. The role of hot springs in Tibetan society also reflects a belief in the interconnection between the spiritual and the temporal, where spiritual teachings have direct, practical applicability. For example, during times of difficulty or change, a hot spring can offer new perspectives or methods for dealing with contemporary challenges, showing how ancient wisdom can be applied to solve modern problems. The revelation and use of hot springs, therefore, are not just about preserving the past, they are also about shaping the future. This demonstrates a vision where spiritual development is continuous and directly relevant to people's lives at any time. We have now reached a crucial step, its translation and dissemination beyond the borders of Tibet. This step has transformed an ancient spiritual guide into a source of wisdom accessible worldwide, influencing not only those within the Buddhist tradition, but also people from diverse cultures and beliefs. The first significant translation of the Tibetan Book of the Dead into English was carried out by Walter Evans Wentz at the beginning of the 20th century. This version opened the door to the West, allowing a much wider audience to have access to the teachings on life, death, and rebirth. Evans Wentz, who was as much an anthropologist as a theologian, not only translated the text, but also contextualized it for his Western readers, helping to foster a dialogue between Eastern and Western spiritual traditions. However, it wasn't just the translation that helped popularize the Tibetan Book of the Dead. In the 1970s, a new translation by Francesca Fremantle and Chogyam Trungpa brought an even more accessible and practical perspective. Trungpa, a Tibetan master who had a deep understanding of both Buddhism and the Western cultural context, emphasized the application of the book's teachings in daily life, not just in the context of death. This expanded access and the book's practical relevance helped catalyze its impact in various areas beyond spirituality. For example, psychologists and therapists have begun to explore how bardo concepts can be applied to help people deal with transitions and loss, not just physical death, but also other symbolic deaths, such as the end of a relationship or a major life change. In addition, the Tibetan Book of the Dead began to influence popular culture, being referenced in works of art, literature, and even cinema. The idea that we can understand and prepare our minds for the transition of death touched on universal questions about the meaning of life and what awaits us afterwards. Today, the Tibetan Book of the Dead is available in several languages, allowing people around the world to explore its profound lessons. This universal availability not only extends the reach of the teachings, but also allows them to continue to be a living source of guidance and inspiration. If you're finding value in this video, please leave a like. It really makes a difference to us and helps other people discover our content. What exactly does this guide reveal about the final destiny of human consciousness? The book teaches us that death is not the end, but a passage to a new form of existence. Imagine if you could observe what happens after life, as if you were watching a movie where you were both the spectator and the protagonist. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers such a vision, guiding consciousness through a state called bardo, the interval between death and the next rebirth. During this intermediate state, it is said that the person will face a series of visions and hallucinations. Some of these visions can be peaceful and bright, reflecting the positive aspects of the individual. Others can be terrifying, products of fears and regrets accumulated throughout life. The book serves as a guide to not only understanding but also navigating these visions, teaching techniques for maintaining calm and clarity, even in the most challenging circumstances. But herein lies the real mystery. The book suggests that experiences in the bardo are profoundly influenced by a person's thoughts and actions throughout life. Thus, the way we live not only shapes our experience of life, but also our transit through death and beyond. This is a powerful idea, which invites each of us to reflect on how our daily thoughts and choices can echo in our journey after death. In addition, the book emphasizes the importance of preparing for death, not in a gloomy way, but as a spiritual practice that enriches our experience of life. The awareness that death can occur at any moment encourages us to live with more meaning, presence, and compassion. As we continue to unravel the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we now delve into the details of the bardos, those enigmatic and revealing intermediate states. What happens in these phases may seem like something out of a fairy tale or mystery story, but according to the book, it is a reality that we will all face. The bardos are described as periods full of visions and encounters. Imagine crossing a bridge between two worlds, where each step reveals new landscapes of your mind. Here, the consciousness experiences a variety of manifestations, from dazzling lights to threatening shadows, each representing different aspects of itself and the universe. The first bardo begins immediately after death. It is a moment when consciousness can encounter the clear light of reality, an experience of pure radiant awareness that is the essence of everything. But capturing this light is no easy task. The distractions and fears cultivated during life can divert consciousness, leading it down a less luminous path. If the clear light is not recognized, the second bardo unfolds, full of intense hallucinations. These visions are said to be projections of the individual themselves, arising from emotions and thoughts that were dominant during life. Here, facing these visions without fear or desire can influence the course of the journey, helping the soul to move towards a favorable rebirth or even achieve liberation from the wheel of rebirth. The third bardo is the rebirth process. Depending on the person's actions and thoughts throughout their life, as well as how they dealt with the visions in the previous bardos, the consciousness can be reborn in different realms or forms of existence. This is a critical time, where the understanding and preparation offered by the book is vital to ensure an auspicious path. Now, you may be wondering, how do these ancient descriptions apply to our modern lives? In today's world, full of distractions and challenges, the Tibetan Book of the Dead serves as a reminder that our thoughts and actions carry weight, not only in the here and now, but also beyond. It calls us to live with intention, awareness, and compassion. We can see that, despite being a guide for the period between death and rebirth, its lessons have profound and practical applications for daily life. These practices help us to prepare not only for the moment of death, but to live each day with more purpose and clarity. Firstly, the book teaches us about the importance of the conscious mind. In the context of the bards, mental clarity and the absence of fear are essential for navigating visions and challenges. This same clarity is vital in our daily lives, helping us to face challenges, make wise decisions and maintain emotional balance. The Tibetan Book of the Dead also emphasizes the practice of meditation as a form of preparation. Meditation is not just a technique for relaxing or reducing stress, it is a means of exploring the mind, recognizing our fears and desires, and learning to release them. This regular practice enables us to face death with a calm and prepared mind, but it also enriches our experience of life, making us more present and aware. In addition, the book encourages a life lived with intention. By understanding that our thoughts and actions echo beyond our physical existence, we are called to live in a more ethical and compassionate way. This includes practicing virtues such as generosity, patience, and kindness, which not only improve our own well-being, but also positively impact those around us. These practices and teachings, although originating in an ancient religious and spiritual context, are surprisingly relevant to contemporary challenges. In a world often marked by uncertainty and rapid change, learning to remain calm and clear can be extraordinarily valuable. Finally, the Tibetan Book of the Dead serves as a reminder that every moment is precious. It encourages us to reflect on the impermanence of life and to value every experience and relationship. This teaching can transform the way we live, encouraging us to embrace life fully, with gratitude and a deep appreciation for the now. As we delve deeper into the teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we begin to realize that its impact goes beyond personal development. It also touches on the way society understands and treats death and life. By offering a deeper perspective on these issues, the book has the potential to transform not only individuals, but also culture in a broader sense. In many modern cultures, death is often seen as taboo, something to be avoided in conversation and thought. However, the Tibetan Book of the Dead invites us to look death in the face, not as a tragic end, but as an integral part of existence. This approach can help reduce the fear and anxiety that often surround the idea of dying, promoting a healthier acceptance of our mortality. Furthermore, by emphasizing that our actions and thoughts have repercussions beyond physical life, the book encourages an ethical responsibility that can lead to positive social change. Imagine a society where people act consciously, aware that every gesture of kindness or cruelty has a lasting impact. This could foster a more compassionate and empathetic environment, where actions are considered not only for their immediate consequences, but also for their long-term effect. The book also has an impact on the arts and philosophy, inspiring artists, writers and thinkers to explore themes of transcendence, existence and consciousness in their work. These works, influenced by the book's concepts, can challenge and expand our understanding of reality, stimulating a broader dialogue on spiritual and existential themes. Finally, by making accessible teachings that were previously hidden or esoteric, the Tibetan Book of the Dead democratizes spiritual knowledge, allowing people from all backgrounds to explore these ideas. This contributes to a greater diversity of perspectives in discussions about spirituality and ethics, enriching cultural discourse and promoting greater tolerance and understanding between different beliefs and practices. Your opinion is very important to us. Comment below on what you think of the video or if you have any questions on this subject. As we reflect on the lessons of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we begin to understand how these ancient teachings can be applied to our contemporary lives, providing a new perspective on how we view not only death, but every moment of our existence. This book offers us a transformative vision. Death is not an end, but a transition, and our consciousness persists beyond the physical body. This idea could be revolutionary for many of us, changing the way we value each day. By recognizing the continuity of consciousness, we can begin to live more fully and intentionally, knowing that our choices and actions echo beyond the here and now. In addition, the Tibetan Book of the Dead encourages a constant practice of self-reflection and meditation. These practices help us to develop a greater awareness of our thoughts and emotions, allowing us to live with greater authenticity and presence. This not only improves our quality of life, but also prepares us to face death with serenity and clarity, reducing the fear and anxiety that often accompany thoughts of our own demise. The relevance of these teachings also extends to our impact on the world. By cultivating qualities such as compassion, patience, and generosity, we positively influence the people around us. The book shows us that the way we treat others and the world has profound implications, not just for others, but for our own soul's journey. Furthermore, by integrating the wisdom of the Tibetan Book of the Dead into our lives, we can begin to see everyday challenges as opportunities for growth and learning. Problems at work, family disagreements, or even personal crises can be seen in a new light, as valuable lessons that prepare us for the transitions of life and death. Finally, by applying the teachings of this ancient text, we become more aware of the interconnectedness of all things. This insight can lead to greater ecological and social responsibility, as we begin to understand that our actions affect not only our own destiny, but also the world around us. In the next segment, we will conclude our journey through the Tibetan Book of the Dead, reflecting on how these ancient teachings continue to offer wisdom and guidance for the deepest questions of our existence. Historically, the book has been used in rituals where it is read or recited to people who are dying or who have already passed away. The idea is to help them navigate the experiences and visions that arise in this transitory state. This includes guidance on how to face and release the frightening and confusing visions that may appear. The book presents a detailed perspective on the nature of consciousness. It teaches that our consciousness does not end with physical death. Rather, death is seen as a gateway to a new state of existence. This view can radically change the way we live, by making us aware that our current life is just one part of a continuous journey. The text not only describes what happens after we die, but also provides clear and specific instructions for souls in transition. These include mantras and meditations that can be used to achieve a state of clarity and peace, regardless of the hallucinations that may arise. These instructions are precious not only for those going through the transition of death, but also for the living, as they offer us a way to understand and prepare for our own mortality. We have reached the end of our journey through the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but the reflections it provokes are eternal. This book is not just a guide to death, it is an invitation to live with greater awareness and compassion. By teaching us that death is a transition, not an end, it challenges us to look at our lives in a new way, valuing each moment and each encounter as part of a greater journey. The book's teachings encourage us to cultivate a clear mind and an open heart, transforming the way we face both everyday challenges and major transitions. Through meditation and reflection, we can learn to live with intention, recognizing the interconnection between our actions and the greater universe. This ancient Tibetan text continues to be a source of wisdom and inspiration, showing that the truths about life and death are as relevant today as they were centuries ago. By incorporating these teachings into our lives, we can find not only peace at the prospect of death, but also a richer and fuller experience while we are here. This conclusion encapsulates the essence and lasting impact of the teachings of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, encouraging a practical and profound application of these lessons in everyday life. If you need more details or would like to discuss another topic, I'm happy to help. As we finish our exploration of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we are invited to reflect on how its teachings can be incorporated into our daily lives. This text is not just a spiritual guide for the moment of death, but a compass for living more fully and consciously. Awareness of impermanence teaches us to value every interaction and every experience. By becoming more aware of the transience of life, we can prioritize authentic relationships, meaningful engagement, and actions that resonate positively in our community and beyond. I encourage you to take the wisdom of the Tibetan Book of the Dead with you, applying its principles of conscious presence and compassion to all areas of your life. May this journey through the book inspire not only a reflection on death, but a renewed enthusiasm for life. Thank you for following this journey into the profound understanding of human existence that the Tibetan Book of the Dead offers. I hope that the reflections provided here will continue to resonate in your life, helping you to live each day with more purpose and peace. This final message aims to inspire the continued application of the book's teachings in everyday life, reinforcing the connection between spiritual awareness and daily actions. If you have any more questions or need further assistance, I'm here to help. If this video was of any value to you, please consider subscribing to the channel. This not only supports the work we're doing here, but also helps spread these transformative ideas to others who can benefit from them.